In the quiet world they had built far away from the spotlight, Amelia Warner once believed that trust was the one thing fame could never steal from her marriage. In this fictional account, however, everything changed the moment a single revelation shattered that certainty. A love that seemed untouchable. To outsiders, Jamie Dornan and Amelia Warner appeared to embody balance. A successful actor navigating Hollywood while his wife chose a more private path, grounded in family and creativity. Their bond, at least in this imagined story, was described by friends as calm, respectful, and deeply rooted in shared values. Amelia, a composer and artist, was portrayed as Jamie's emotional anchor, the one who remained steady when the industry felt overwhelming. She trusted not only his love, but the honesty that came with it, the moment everything broke. The betrayal in this fictional narrative did not come in the form of headlines or scandalous photographs. Instead, it arrived quietly, through a secret, a long-hidden truth that Jamie had chosen not to share. When Amelia finally learned what had been kept from her, the pain did not explode outward. It turned inward. Silence replaced conversation. Doubt replaced certainty. The hurt wasn't just about what had happened, but about the realization that the man she trusted most had decided she didn't deserve the full truth. Devastation behind closed doors. In this imagined version of events, Amelia's devastation was profound. She questioned her instincts, her memories, even the foundation of their life together. Nights passed without sleep, filled with unanswered questions and the weight of emotional exhaustion. Friends noticed the change first, a quieter Amelia, distant and withdrawn, pouring her feelings into music that suddenly carried a sorrow it never had before. Creativity became both her refuge and her release. Fame, guilt, and regret. Jamie, in this fictional tale, was consumed by regret. He realized too late that omission can wound just as deeply as deception. The pressure of public life, the temptation to protect rather than confess, had led him to a choice that cost him the trust of the person he loved most. For the first time, success felt empty. Apologies came easily, but healing did not. An uncertain path forward. This story does not end with clear answers. In this fictional world, Amelia faces a choice familiar to many. Whether trust, once broken, can ever be rebuilt, or whether love sometimes survives only as a memory. What remains clear is the emotional truth at the heart of the tale. Betrayal doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes, it whispers, and the damage it leaves behind can be just as devastating. In the weeks that followed, Amelia's devastation evolved into something quieter but no less painful. She began to withdraw from the familiar rhythms of her life, choosing solitude over conversation. In this imagined story, even simple moments, morning coffee, walks through the garden, the sound of laughter from their children, felt heavy with unspoken thoughts. What hurt most was not anger, but disappointment. Amelia wondered how long the distance had been growing without her noticing. She replayed conversations in her mind, searching for missed signs, unheard truths, anything that could explain when trust began to fracture. Conversations that cut deep. Eventually, silence became impossible. In this fictional scenario, their conversations were raw and exhausting, filled with tears, long pauses, and confessions that came too late. Jamie tried to explain himself, not to excuse, but to be understood. Yet every explanation seemed to circle the same wound, the choice to hide instead of share. Amelia listened, but she was no longer certain listening was enough. Trust, she realized, was not rebuilt by words alone. It required time, vulnerability, and a willingness to face consequences without guarantees. A woman redefining herself. As part of this imagined journey, Amelia slowly turned inward, focusing on rebuilding her sense of self outside the relationship. Music became her language of grief and strength. Each note carried fragments of heartbreak, resilience, and the faint hope of clarity. She stopped asking whether Jamie would change and started asking what she needed to heal. It was a painful but empowering shift, one that marked the beginning of her emotional independence. Love without certainty. This fictional story does not promise reconciliation, nor does it demand separation. Instead, it reflects the uncomfortable middle ground where many relationships linger after betrayal. Love still exists, but certainty does not. In the end, Amelia's devastation became a catalyst rather than an ending, forcing both of them to confront uncomfortable truths. Whether their paths ultimately converged again remains unknown. What lingers is the lesson at the heart of this tale. Betrayal reshapes love, but it also reveals strength hidden beneath heartbreak, a strength that, once discovered, can never be taken away.